Well, this was expected.
You won't let me grab his dick.
That's true. But anyways,
Make him have me grab it.
no.
Do it.
I am abstinent. I do not partake of the earthly wines or the earthly woman that I am married to. But anyway,
Yeah, but that's abuse now.
yeah, fucking not plowing your woman is abuse somehow. Yeah.
Bitch.
Isn't it weird how
I'm joking.
like they think that at the same time sex is this liberating thing that anyone can do and it's totally free of consequence and no one has to worry about who fucks who and everything's open and equal. And then on the same hand they're like, rape is the worst thing on the planet and it destroys your personality and ruins you as a human being. Like all this fucking shit. So it just yeah. Anyway, that's an aside. Shad made a response to this, but he only responded to a few parts. I'm going to respond to the whole thing. Also, there's some things that he responded to that I feel like was kind of left out. Mostly history and things of that nature, so I figured I'd do that. And I've taught Ale quite a few things in regards to history, so figured she'd, give some feedback as well. So yeah, we're going to do this. So let's start this then.
Hello, Internet. Welcome to Game Theory, the show that dual-wields science and logic. Speaking of, that is our topic for today, the gaming trope of dual-wielding. You see, this...
I only like your Zelda shit.
Yeah. Okay. Dual-wielding is... There are troops that use dual-wielding, historically speaking, but it's not as common as people think. It's not as common as it was in fantasy. Although, if we're talking marauders, many marauders would dual wield. And things of that nature, you'd have Vikings, you'd have Huns, you'd have all these different, mostly marauders, mostly around the fall of the Roman Empire, just about everyone was pillaging and looting and raping and plundering. But the Vikings were just good at it, really. That's really why we remember them so well, just because they were good at it. But, dual wielding itself, I mean, you're kind of fucked if a volley of arrows come at you, but if you're in a hand-to-hand combat, you actually have a bit of an advantage. Especially in more Western styles, because with Eastern styles, you swing both weapons at the same time, in the same direction. And it's dishonorable to use one weapon separately, right? So, but that's an Eastern honor code tradition thing. But Western-wise, you kind of do a flurry of attacks, pairing one with the other, and you do like a flurry of hits kind of thing. And typically, both arms are facing the opponent when you do this flurry, so... But that'll get into more a little bit later.
This episode is sponsored by Ubisoft and their newest installment in the Assassin's Creed franchise, Valhalla.
Which, by the way, that trailer, I was thinking of responding to that trailer, but we'll see. Trailer's kind of bad too.
Say Valhalla?
Yeah, he's gonna say that. But I know it's weird. It's supposed to be Walhalla, like if you're actually going with the Nordic term.
Well, that is true, but yeah. I mean, at least say like Valhalla or something like that.
Yeah, Valhalla as an aw, not a Valhalla it's weird.
Don't disrespect us.
Yeah, jeez, Americans just, I don't know what is it with you guys and fucking up the letter A, but whatever. Hey, you're American too.
That's why I looked at you.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm like, excuse me, bitch.
Available November 10th. Click the link in the description to check it out, which is Assassin's Creed, but now with Vikings. And I gotta admit, I'm excited to get my hands on this one, sponsorship or no. It really seems to be the perfect mix of what AC's been building up to all these years. You're setting sail in Viking longships. There's an upgradable settlement feature that serves as your home base. There's massive assaults where you and the crew casually lay waste to huge fortresses. And of course, all the hidden blade action that this series begins.
Okay, here's what's interesting mentioning the Hidden Blade. In Odyssey, there was no Hidden Blade at all. So why the fuck was it in Assassin's Creed? He wasn't even fighting Templars, for God's sake. He was fighting this weird cult that was trying to control the Greek world and...
Well, my guess is that, like, it was the Templars before they were Templars.
Well...
Which is actually kind of a
I guess, but they didn't really make that connection in the game itself.
They
just kind of said, "Oh, well, these are the bad guys, and here you go." And
hey! You already know that I make better theories than him sometimes.
Well, that's true, but Ale makes some pretty good theories actually. But no, yeah, like.
Sorry, Matt Pat. I like your Zelda stuff.
Yeah. Look, I used to watch. Again, this is nothing against Matt Pat. Like, he does his thing. He's actually usually pretty good at it. He's usually pretty intelligent. Like the FNAF stuff, he kills. He's so good with FNAF theories. It's ridiculous. But
make that Austin guy do more Zelda theories.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah, he is pretty funny. But again, but when it comes to history, Matt Pat just doesn't quite know where to look. And I'll explain that as we go on.
And again, did I mention Vikings? Like, that alone ups the cool factor immediately. Though, sponsorship or no, Ubisoft, I do gotta knock you guys a bit. Odin is with us! Not really the inspiring or fear-inducing voice of a Viking that I was expecting guys. I'm not intending to shade the voice actor or anything. Clearly, this is the direction that the creative team wanted, but for me, I'd think that you'd want to get some Broken Earth voice in there. That's theater talk for getting your voice low and growly.
What?
I think he sounded fine.
Well, yeah, my more issue with that scene is the fact that he assumes Odin is with them. Just because Odin sends his ravens and himself doesn't mean he's on your side. It could just be he wants to watch you die. Like it's, so assuming that he's on your side is very presumptuous.
Unless you gave him an offering.
Yeah, which
then
they didn't show any offerings being made. Well, they showed a effigy, but I don't think it was to Odin because it had two eyes.
What I mean is if I can fucking talk.
Yeah, no kidding.
Not because of you talking, of course.
Yeah.
Shocker. Anyway, I guess then again, if the offering goes through, yeah.
Well.
Then he might be on your side.
Even then, he still might not be. I mean, it would make sense.
I'm saying, maybe.
If they made an offering, it would make sense for them to assume that he's on their side. That I get, but because I actually saw the video. They didn't make any offering to him. Now they did show an effigy, but it didn't look to be to Odin. Did we
ever mention that we're Nordic pagans?
Yeah, we're Nordic pagans.
So that's why we're what?
Yeah, this is kind of our wheelhouse. So
yeah. It's huh?
Yeah. So anyways, moving on.
Something like Odin is with us. Just saying, this is one of the only game trailers in existence where we watch as the hero and his team get absolutely wrecked and. It's because our buddy Eivor over here ain't projecting with his diaphragm. Just saying. But what he lacks for in vocal support, Eivor more than makes up for in...
Well, I will say this. The whole lighting, it was weird. It was like a dark scene, and then there was fire arrows. First of all, fire arrows don't work that way. Second of all, why would you use fire arrows in the dark so they could see them? It's the dark. Just use regular arrows. They can't see that shit. They can hear it if they're not talking.
Yeah.
But I mean,
most of the time you're gonna hear metal clanging on metal, so how the fuck can you hear?
Yeah, exactly. Especially if you're wearing chainmail and gambesons and everything, which is what they would wear. Now, I will say this: the character design, his nose is way too damn small. I don't know why. Is it because his mouth is open that makes it so? But look, that is a tiny fucking nose. That nose is smaller than mine, and I'm actually Nordic. Well, yeah. It's about the size of yours. A little smaller than mine. I mean...
Just pointy like yours.
Yeah, it's pointy like mine. Again, that's the Nordic.
It's the size of mine, and I'm predominantly Nordic.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm Germanic and Scandinavian.
Yeah.
Predominantly.
Yeah, same here. Although I have a bunch of Scottish too, but that's kind of relevant. You can really tell by my beard. My beard's red. My hair is pretty red too.
He's Eric the Red.
I'm essentially Eric the Red, just taller. Essentially, I'm 6'10", so yeah. Chunk. But anyways, yeah.
Physical support. Eivor is unquestionably the strongest assassin that we've ever seen appear throughout this series.
Jesus.
Throughout this game, Eivor will be dual-wielding anything that he can get his hands on. And I do mean anything he gets his hands on, including things like shields. This announcement was enough to get the internet in a tizzy with headline after headline about this. And so that is what I told Ubisoft that I wanted to talk about in today's sponsored episode. The trope of dual-wielding in games. It is super cool.
Well,
you can actually do stuff with a shield. But,
yeah, I mean, shields do have some offensive capability, but no, there's a thing called shield bearers, and that was actually kind of a thing in Vikings.
Is it the people that run to the front and just?
Well, kind of, but it's people that carry 2 or more shields.
No.
And they do that because of how their shields were designed. Their shields were designed not with metal around the rim for a reason. They were designed, basically, if you cut into a Viking round shield, it'll cut into the wood and your weapon will get stuck. Then they throw that shield aside, grab another one, and then use that.
I don't know why, but that just reminds me of when I was in like school, like playing like dodgeball.
Yeah.
Cause like I was always in the back.
Yeah.
And nobody could get me out for like the longest
time.
Oh yeah,
same here. Yeah.
And I mean, I was like, walk this way, and everybody's like,
yeah.
And at some point, I'm like, at some point, I just stood there.
Yeah. And they still miss. Yeah, no kidding. But
like I was always the ball catcher, and I'm like, hey, need the balls? Here you go. Yeah. And they're like, hey, sweet.
Yeah.
They fucking loved me during dodgeball. I was always in the back trying to get all the balls to them.
Yeah, I was pretty loved too. I wasn't as good as catching, but I was really good at dodging. No,
I wasn't the catcher. They just all the balls just went to the back of the fucking gym, and I'm like, hey, here we go. Have some ammunition.
Oh yeah. This right here. He's gonna mention this later, but this is a bearded axe specifically. This is the beard right here. This is more of a not really angular, but more of a diagonal bit axe. Now typically axes had some space right here. But that was more so it could hang on your belt, so it could be fastened to your person. It wasn't as much so it could hook a weapon, which he'll talk about later, and I'll get into that in more detail later. But still, it was that, and I just want to say with the hidden blade, why is it on the top? I get it, so it doesn't get caught in between the fucking weapons and shit. I get that, but unless that's the specific reason. Because for some reason, ever since, like, 3, no one had to chop off any fingers whatsoever. Even if we're going back in time. No one had to chop off any fingers. Yeah, it is a nice boat. That boat. Yeah. Viking longships are quite beautiful. We've actually found Viking longships buried in the ground in many parts of Scandinavia. So, actually, you might want to get back up here so they can hear you. Yeah.
Hey, that's a cat.
Yeah, that's a cat right there.
Hi, kitty.
Hi, kitty. Oh, yeah, you still got it in. Okay.
Cool, but does it actually make sense? Like, just because you can do something, does it mean that you should? What is the history of dual wielding? Did anyone ever dual wield the way that we're seeing Eivor do in the game? And is there a world, any world in existence where using 2 shields would make sense? Because, I don't know.
Actually, yes. Especially if you don't have any actual weapons. Now, preferring to dual wield shields doesn't make as much sense. But, look.
Wait. They could always have a lightning shield from Breath of the Wild.
Oh, God,
sharp edges and everything. And
yeah, that's true.
It's basically like a throwing stars is way bigger.
Yeah. Yeah.
All you gotta do is this, and you cut the person's head.
Yeah, no kidding. Which, I mean, spiked shields are a thing, but that happened way later in history, like way later.
Shield knife thing?
Yeah, shield knife, yeah. But
Shield
the spikes were like 8 inches long. They were pretty big spikes. I think William Wallace had one, I believe. I remember hearing something about him having one, but I don't know.
Also, I'm going to be talking about arrows decapitating people because that's something I saw in a
What?
Corey X Kenshin gameplay video, and I thought it was funny. I took her head off. So now, let's get going,
What?
theorists, because Odin.
What? Decapitation via arrow.
Unless that thing is a bomb arrow from, like,
oh god,
Dual-Wield, I don't foresee this.
Okay, look. Unless it's a flesh cutter, which is a specific type of arrowhead, and it's a child's windpipe. Maybe. But you have to be very accurate to hit a child in the neck. A grown person, typically their neck is bigger than a flesh cutter arrow is. Typically. So that actually happening.
Decapitate, but I mean, if you hit them
Yeah.
right here and go.
Yeah.
It would go right through.
It wouldn't decapitate, but it would, cut a good.
It would cut the jugular.
It would definitely nick the jugular at least, but.
It is with us. See, it gets you motivated. Consider this my audition for the next game in the series. So let's start with some historical context, shall we? For those who aren't familiar, dual wielding is when you use two weapons, one in each hand. And initially this seems like it should be a great idea, right? Not only do you look doubly cool on the battlefield, but you're also doubling your offensive capabilities, right?
Yes.
Wrong. Think about it. You can
No.
only really be offensive with one arm, one weapon, or one side of your body at a time. Which means that even if you are equally effective at using a weapon on both sides of your body, which already is going to be taking a lot of training, half the time.
Wouldn't they have had a shield on their back?
Typically,
Possibly?
yeah. When they dual wield, they typically have a shield on their back.
I mean, like, they have armor on that if they made properly.
Yeah.
That could actually.
I mean, the most common armor at the time was cloth armor and chainmail. That was the two most common.
Okay, but the thing is, like, if you put enough chainmail and cloth on you, you're gonna be fine.
Yeah, cloth armor can stop an arrow. Like a typical bodkin arrow, it can stop a bodkin arrowhead. I've actually seen videos where it actually stops one that were done in modern day fucking times.
Okay, but even with a sword, if you got a thick enough layer on, plus chainmail, you're gonna be okay.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, even if, well, let's just say Matt Pat's theory is true, and you can only use one side effectively. If like two people come at you, you got both sides covered. That's a huge advantage. Even if his theory is true, it's not. But even if.
Not to mention, I mean, if you have a shield on your back, I mean,
Then you can take on three people at once and be very effective.
Yeah.
Right. So, again, and battlefields can get hectic. They can get. Typically, they were ranked formation in terms of like Romans and other military like castes, but the Vikings were more sparse in their slaughtering. I mean, they had line formations, as did everyone the fuck else, but at a certain point, they kind of would get like filled with other people, and you kind of had to. Typically, they wore colors to indicate their clan or whatever. That way, you know which one's which, and who to kill and who not to kill, and casualties happened all the time, especially with berserker soldiers. Any kind of berserker type was indiscriminate on the battlefield. They would go into a rage, typically induced by drugs or blood fury. It's a long story. And then they would go on a fucking murder spree and kill everyone in a fucking 10-meter radius.
Basically, the simplest way to say about the blood rage is just rar.
Yeah, just rar, essentially. Like, that's all you have to do.
Times 80.
Yeah, rar times... Rarge? Rar... Wow, I fucked it up, English. Rar times 80, yes. God, why is that so hard to say? Jeez, that is very difficult.
You suck at English.
Yeah, I really do. I need to go back to German.
Then I couldn't understand you.
Yeah.
Because I don't know German.
Well,
that well.
Well, you're getting there. You're there more than some people. I mean, it's true.
I mean, that part of your body is just going to be rendered useless, or at least less effective. It's not.
If you attack, how would this make sense? If you attack with only one side facing your opponent, which is not really, I mean, that's how you do for fencing, yeah, but that's a sport. That's not actual combat. If only one side's facing your opponent, yes. But typically when you're dual wielding, both arms are facing your opponent, and you're doing a flurry of hits, left, right, with both sides, left, right, and you're kind of going up, down, left, right, left, up, down. in all these different flurries and directions, basically to fuck up their guard and knock them off balance. That's the whole point.
Basically, do what I do when dodging Chris, because I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah, she's oddly fluid when she doesn't know what she's doing, but that's but just like again, that's that's just that's just how it fucking goes. Like it, he's thinking of fencing. That's what he's thinking of. He's thinking of professional fencing.
Very spooky.
A little bit. He's thinking of professional fencing. He's not thinking of combat. Combat, you don't face one flank to your opponent. I mean, yeah, you really don't. I mean, you kind of do if you're attacking a little bit, but.
Are you talking about fencing?
Well, I'm talking about combat, not fencing. Because fencing, you only face one side of your opponent, and then you just do the one side thing.
The way I see, like, just combat. Okay.
Your front is facing your opponent, not your side. Yeah. Right?
I mean, you might be standing like this, but your eyes are still facing.
Your eyes are facing forward. You're facing forward. I mean, you might be tilted a little bit.
Regardless of even if you're like carrying a sword or you're just like fist fighting.
Yeah.
You're just kind of staring at your opponent there.
Yeah. You're facing forwards.
And you're about
boxing.
to like knock a jaw or something.
Yeah.
But
boxing, martial arts, fucking swordsmanship, HEMA. All sorts of stuff. Like, you're facing your opponent directly. It's not just your left half facing your opponent. That only makes sense in fencing. I think what he was doing with researching combat is he looked up fencing and then thought, okay, that's combat. I think that's what he did. I'm not sure. If Matt Pat, if that's what you did, then
what he's going, maybe he's just going off of like movies.
No, movies they show facing forward most of the time.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, maybe not with martial arts movies, but in typical
martial arts movies, they basically put hook strings to them and make it all fancy looking.
Yeah, they essentially have superpowers in martial arts movies. That's kind of the point. Like,
yeah, exactly. So they're
because normal fist fighting isn't that entertaining, but
like normal fist fighting is just this.
Yeah. Ow! What the fuck? Just jabbed me in the hip. What the fuck? It's just this. Bam. Fuck. But yeah, no, I love you too. But just again, like it's not dueling. It's combat. They're different. No, ow! You didn't even touch me that time. Ow! What the fuck? Will you just quit pestering me while I'm doing a damn video?
You should probably regret that you ever taught me that.
Yeah, I never should have taught you that. I taught her the 1-inch punch, and she's been using it on me like religiously.
Yeah, because I perfected it.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah, not a lot of people have trouble actually getting the motion down, but Elle got it down pretty good. It only took her a few weeks actually, which. Ow. Which, yeah.
Strategy, and in a battle for your life,
now that part was cool, where he fucking hits. The armor actually works. I want armor to actually work in a video game. Like, I want a game to happen where. Well, we'll see if I even get this one. I don't know. We'll see. But the thing is, just calm down. Well, the thing is, I want armor to actually fucking work. I want, like, basically you attack an enemy and you have a small chance to go in between their armor, depending on the weapon. But if you don't go in between their armor, you only damage their armor, not their health. And you keep damaging their armor until their armor is damaged. And then when it's damaged, you can do a direct hit. That would be cool. And certain weapons do more damage to armor, but less damage to flesh.
Just bring a serrated knife and cut through the cloth armor.
Well,
just rip.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Rip.
Yeah.
And there you go. And then you go.
Yeah, and then you go shank. Well, that's essentially what I'm getting at, but just less, precise.
Rip.
And this, this battle is, it's not bad. Typically, okay, yeah, you go do that. Typically, when they had these types of skirmishes, it would be one side versus the other, and they'd kind of come together. And they would fight, and they'd kind of intermingle a little bit. Yeah, I know. Ow, fuck my legs. Hey, the fuck. But yeah, again, like they would kind of intermingle. It wouldn't be as spread out as this is, at least not typically, unless it's a raid. Raids are pretty hectic, and they just do whatever.
Efficiency matters. To boil it all down simply, battles are all about a balance of offense and defense. Coming up with
Kinda. I mean, yeah, sorta. I mean, that's one way to put it. I mean, it's not all about it. I mean,
solid defenses until it's the right time to strike, which is why throughout history,
I mean,
something
typically
used for offense like an axe or a sword is so often paired with something focused more around defense, like any of a variety of different shield types. However,
that's a Tarj. Why is a Tarj in a video about Vikings? Targes weren't invented until 800 years after the Viking era. I don't know why there's a Tarj there.
Not to say that there's no historical evidence of dual wielding. Quite the contrary, in fact. If you only have a one-handed weapon, your other arm is entirely useless, and in most cases, nearly...
Unless you two-hand it. Which, two-handing, even a one-handed weapon, a lot of swords have a long enough grip to where you can use it with two hands and just spin it on a center axis and just spin it like that. You know, I do that all the time with staff work. I mean, you know, you do that all the time with swords especially. I mean, I'm a combatant myself. I use mostly swords, staves. I know how to use a shield, but I typically don't. I more so am evasive. I'm sort of an evasive fighter than I am a tank fighter, even though I'm built like a fucking brick shithouse. In terms of height, anyways, in terms of height. But, I'm 6'10", so yeah, that's, you know, fucking, yeah, I'm basically the mountain.
Really anything is better than just your fist.
Plunger.
Even something as simple as a stick is going to provide better defense and longer offensive reach than just your arm. And this is largely what you see with the history of dual wielding. Most of the time, the technique was used for one-on-one duels with two different weapons.
That's specifically with a parry dagger. Historical duels like that, they didn't use a shield because it took more skill to use a parry dagger. It took more skill to use that. So that's why they didn't. Yeah, it was more of a challenge, right? But in combat, you want to use a shield over a parry dagger. But people still use parry daggers. Some people are really good at it. But, you know, I mean, the whole thing with parry daggers is that, you know, you want to kind of, I mean, these are a different type of parry dagger. Typically, the parry dagger has like a U shape, like that, so it can catch a blade. You know, it's typically a U shape around there. But they weren't only used for, you know, dueling in that sense. I think he mostly just looked up dueling. You're gonna have to get down here. I think he mostly just looked up dueling and then just assumed that, okay, that's what all combat is. I think that's what happened, because he mentions dueling quite a bit. You know.
A longer sword for attacking and a short sword or dagger for defense. In fact, defensive daggers became so popular that the parrying dagger was designed with
that's not really a parry dagger. Again, parry daggers typically have a much longer guard here. It's typically in the shape of a U. Typically, it's a U-shaped kind of dagger. This looks more. Really the only difference is length. Really, I mean, daggers are shorter than short swords.
Like they were really similar. And I'm like,
yeah, they're not. I mean,
because wouldn't you go like, what would it be, like daggers of swords?
Yeah.
Short sword, long sword.
Yeah.
Then great big gigantor sword.
Yeah. Well, long swords were typically two-handed, but if you were a big motherfucker, you could one-hand it. Again,
so like the King of Hyrule.
Yeah, essentially. A lot of the main difference with different lengths of weapons is your momentum, and it's your center axis, how you hold it, how you swing it, that kind of thing, and your range and distance. All those things are factors. So it's not just, you know, oh, this is just you know, it's so in that sense, wielding a short sword is very different from wielding a dagger. Very different. You have to get up closer with it for one, and B, it's typically a faster swing because it's not as heavy, it's shorter, it's less bulky, but you have to get up closer with it. With like a long sword, which is typically two-handed, historically speaking, you would have to, damn it, you would have to, you'd have to use the center axis momentum. You could be farther away with it, but it takes longer to swing. It has more range, but it's harder to swing, and you kind of need more momentum behind it, anyways. So but it's heavier and bulkier. So there's pros and cons, with every different weapon. So that's
defense in mind, sporting advanced knuckle guards and
that's more. Again, that's not a parry dagger, but this is more of like a. I forget. I think it's a loop guard. There's a loop right here. There's a loop right here, and that was typically of swords in the 16th, 17th century. Typically, or is it 16th, 1700s? No, yeah, 16th, 17th century. Yeah. Where they would typically have, and this specifically is a Scottish. What is it with you and Scottish items in this video? This is a Scottish blade. This design is Scottish. And it's way after the Viking period.
Maybe he likes Scottish stuff?
Maybe. He shows a Targe shield earlier on while you were in the can. And the Targe shield wasn't invented until the fucking 1600s. In Scotland. It's kind of weird. So, and this is also Scottish, so I don't know. It's kind of weird to me. Elle's getting situated here. I gotta hold her fucking. Oh, whatever.
What the?
Hmm.
That's like chocolate.
Yeah, chocolate.
Don't eat them all.
I won't eat all of it, just some of it.
No.
Yeah, that's true.
Don't eat all that one. Except for chocolate.
Yeah. This is pretty good for my gum. My gum's a little swollen. I've been having weird face and neck issues lately. It's probably the Rona. It's not like Rona has like every symptom ever now. Breathing funky? It's the Rona. Collapsed lung? It's the Rona. Shitting too much? It's the Rona.
Crossguards. Turning our attention eastward, the Japanese in the medieval era used shields far more sparingly than their European counterparts.
Well, yeah, because that right there is a shield. It's just on their shoulders. I mean, that's basically a shield. It's the way their armor's designed. That's why they didn't use shield really at all. At least the samurai didn't.
An emphasis on horse archery combined with the unique benefits of the Japanese armor made handheld shields more of a hindrance to the movement than a...
Unique benefits? It's lamellar. What's unique benefits of that? I mean... Oh, I know what's going on. He's referencing that last video he did, some 3-4 years ago, I guess, where he was talking about which is the deadliest warrior. It was reference to the game For Honor, and it was which is deadlier, samurai, Viking, or knight. And he's basically said samurai because their armor is lighter and they're more faster and agile than the knight, which is not true, honestly. Samurai armor is actually quite bulky and heavy. And plate armor is actually quite light.
Depending on the metal.
Well, yeah, depending on the alloy of the metal, that's true. But again, I've seen people, I've actually seen videos of guys wearing full plate armor doing rock climbing. Like rock climbing in a gym kind of thing. Mm. And they wore full plate armor and it didn't hinder them at all. It's very form-fitted. Very.
Fitted to whoever wears it.
Yeah, exactly.
Defensive boost. It was during this time period that the samurai began carrying two different swords, the longer katana for battle and the shorter wakizashi for ritual purposes.
No. The katana was not for battle. It was a status symbol. It was essentially a sign of wealth. It was more so for dealing with assassins and close combat. The wakizashi was more so for ritualistic purposes, and the katana was more for dealing with assassins. Assassins were a big thing at that time.
Do I have to mention ninjas?
Well, yeah, those were essentially the assassins. They were dealing with ninjas and assassins and all this stuff. And the katana was more of a status symbol. Now, there is a weapon, I think it's the Dai Katana, that they actually used for battle. It was much longer, it was more two-handed, which the katana is also two-handed. So it was,
but you have to hold a specific way, otherwise that blade can go.
Yeah, exactly. So
hence why it probably only got given to wealthy people.
Yeah. It was not a battle weapon. Not for field battles or anything like that.
Like a knighting.
Yeah, it's kind of a knighting sword. It's more ceremonial than it really is combative. It's the katana is the most overrated fucking weapon on the planet.
Thanks, weeboos.
Yeah, thanks, weebs. Fucking bullshit bitch bastards. Fucking all the B words.
Jeez, I didn't want to go that far.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Well, I'm supposed to be mean. I'm the guy. Men are evil. We've all learned this from the truth that is feminism.
Shut up.
No, we haven't. No, anyways, whoops. Yeah, okay, let's go on.
However, some sword masters developed a two-sword fighting system using both of these blades. One of Japan's most famous swordsmen, Miyamoto Musashi, developed Nito Ichi, a school of swordsmanship that loosely translates to two swords as one. Similar to your
Actually, this is pretty much right. I'm surprised he actually got this. To my knowledge, it is. I'm not too. I mean, I know a little bit about the Edo period, but that's about it.
European dueling, Nito Ichi utilizes the smaller wakizashi as a defensive weapon and the longer katana as the primary. So dual wielding has some historical precedent, but so far the emphasis has been on one defensive weapon and one offensive weapon. What about what we see in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, where we see Eivor dual wielding two very similar looking axes? And quick side note here, yes, they are clearly different. One is bigger and heavier and would function as the defensive axe, while the other is lighter and probably meant to be the main attacking axe. But the differences between the
Jesus Christ, dude.
He does that a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
Two isn't likely to be significant enough to change our overall discussion on fighting strategy using two axes, so that's what I'm going to talk about right now. Well, when it comes...
Wow, he shot himself in the foot there. Again, back to what I was saying earlier, I mean, if you're only... People don't fight with only one side of their body. That's not how combat works. I mean, I could understand why you would think that if all you ever saw was professional fencing.
I mean, I'm going to use my popsicle as a sword here.
Yeah.
But
yeah, exactly. Your torso is facing them. Your head is facing your enemy. That's
might be with popsicle.
Yeah, yeah. The mightiest of weapons. But no. Yeah, again, like if you don't only use one arm when dual wielding, that's ridiculous. You use both facing your opponent and then you flurry parry attacks and shit. That's what you do. You don't I don't know where the hell he got this.
To dual wielding two of the same type of weapon, the Dimakairi class of Roman gladiator were specifically trained to use two curved scimitars called Sikai, but this was entirely for the purpose of spectacle rather than tactical advantage. Then
Kinda. Okay, the whole dual wielding Sakai has actually to do, I believe, with a Roman myth. Something to do with killing a snake with two Sakais. That was, I believe. So they did it sort of for religious reasons, if you want to really go that far. But again, it wasn't so much that, I mean, there were some tactical advantages too. There are tactical advantages to dual wielding, really, but it's not. I don't know have all you seen as professional? Have you seen HEMA dueling? Have you seen reenactments? Have you seen any of that stuff? It'll show you how they fight. They don't fight with just their one arm facing the opponent at one time. That is so inefficient.
I mean, unless they have a shield in the other arm.
Well, I mean...
But the thing is, they use one arm to do both sides.
Yeah, exactly. And then you pivot and parry and all of that. That's why the military teaches you to pivot. That's an old-ass tradition. Militaries have been teaching people how to pivot, specifically for battle purposes, because you want to be able to pivot in battle to use the other side because you're both sides are facing your opponent. You want to pivot so your shield is in front, and then pivot so your sword's in front to kind of have both angles effectively. That's why they teach fucking pivoting in the military to this day.
Then there's Thailand's Krabi Krabong, which has a form called Dab Song Mue, which uses two swords, but in my research I wasn't able to find any historical examples of dual-wielding axes.
See what? You see the video in the background.
That said,
he's attacking with both at the same time. He's going left, right, left, right, left, 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 right. Like he's doing, swings and shit like that. He's not only one side of him facing his opponent. You gave an example that proves you wrong. That, at least in terms of dual wielding, like, you gave an example that proves you wrong. Granted, a lot of examples do show one defense weapon and one offense weapon, because that was the more skilled, trained way of doing it. But there's... How do I put this? It is very common in dual wielding to have a more defensive weapon, or to have a shorter weapon and a longer weapon. That's also very common. But that's not just for defense and offense. That's for a bit of both. Right? When dual wielding, it's more a bit of both kind of flavor. You have some defense, because swords are a bit of both in and of themselves. You can block with a sword, but you have to block at a certain angle, and you have to, catch their sword or whatever. You have to do that certain way. Same with axes. You have to fucking parry off it and shit. Now, I'll get to that later.
The closest example comes from ancient China and their weapon of the twin hook swords. Remember, friends, there is no war in Ba Sing Se. But the curved ends of these swords would be used to trap a weapon or hook the back of a shield to pull it down, exposing your opponent for a solid attack from the second sword. And from there, everything about the dual hook swords was deadly. The knuckle guards were sharpened for slashing and punching. The tail was a sharpened short dagger.
Ow! What the fuck? She hit me with a toothpick.
Popsicle,
whatever. It's all the same fucking tree.
I hooked him.
Yeah. Okay, look. This is... Yes, I've actually used hook swords, so this is all, I understand what he's coming from.
Certainly an advanced, but very, very cool and very, very deadly set of weapons. From a functional standpoint, Eivor's axes would be a much simpler version of this.
Huh?
Maybe you hold the... Okay, from that diagram, like...
Right here.
Oh.
Yeah.
What do you hold from the other one?
This is the grip. This will cut your hand off.
Oh. I didn't know that was a...
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a blade.
This is sharp, yeah.
I didn't know that was
typically
a blade.
sharpened. Yeah.
Oh,
Sharpen.
I got really confused. Like, what am I looking at?
Yeah.
That was decoration. I'm like,
yeah, no, I can understand why you'd think that. But again, like this...
Because I didn't hear the fact that it was a blade.
Yeah.
Not to mention, like, okay, it's only the top sharpened, not the bottom, I'm assuming.
The bottom, no.
Okay,
but
I was
the
gonna
top
say,
is,
like,
yes.
they're gonna slice off their hands.
Yeah, exactly. So, but again, the idea with this is that you punch with it, and then you pull it back to expose the dagger, and you swing down with this, and it's kind of a fluid motion. I think it's called the butterfly, I believe.
So you would punch, pull down, stab.
Essentially.
Okay.
Well, that's another way of doing it, yeah. Essentially.
From a functional standpoint, Eivor's axes would be a much simpler version of this. The main advantage of the axe is the hook under the blade.
What?
So one axe could catch the opponent's weapon or...
Yeah, then it would take your fingers off. Unless you hook it and then pull and break their fucking wrist.
I mean, that would be a good idea if you were grabbing their arm.
Yeah, I mean, you could grab their arm and do that.
Like, grab somebody's wrist.
Grab their wrist and then hook the weapon and then like, dislodge the weapon from their hand. Yeah, that could work.
Like you put your weapon horizontally, like
yeah.
And just like if you're demonstration.
Form. No,
horizontally, their hands are probably gonna be like this.
Mm-hmm.
Like a fear fighting type stance.
Mm-hmm.
You go,
yeah,
and just pull
it back, yeah,
just pull them away like you're supposed to with a stage cane.
Yeah, which again, this is by no means the primary function. The primary function of having a beard on the axe is the dispersion of momentum, I believe is what it's called. basically you have a small bit here, and all the force is going to this blade edge, to this edge. If it was small, then you would have a small point of impact. But if it's longer, you have a longer point of impact, which allows to cut deeper and harder into something.
Actually, it'd be easier just do it sideways.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Again, you would do it sideways to hook the weapon. But if you just hook it and don't do anything and don't disarm them, they can take your fingers off.
Actually just do this.
Yeah.
Raise it back far enough and then...
Yeah.
Put the wrist, knock them on the floor, boom!
Yeah. I mean, that's one technique, but... Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, sorry, cat.
Their shield, pull it away, leaving the body exposed for the blow of the second axe, just like with a hook sword.
I like his diagrams. The diagrams are funny.
The bad news is that axes are just glorified sticks with a heavier head, meaning their defensive abilities and overall reach are incredibly limited. So...
Well... Don't make fun of my axes.
Well, yeah, they are... I mean, compared to swords, yes, but you gotta keep in mind, not many Vikings had swords. Only really the nobles and the elites and the Huskarls had swords. Everyone the fuck else had either a spear or an axe, and that's a lot of that's because metal was rare.
Well, technically a sword's it's just a hunk of metal with a thing of wood shoved up its butt.
Yeah, essentially.
What's the difference?
Well, a lot of it.
Okay, there's difference in shape.
Yeah.
There's difference in uses.
Yeah.
Yes, but technically in components.
No, trust me. I've actually wielded both. What did you just do?
What?
You hit what?
Trailer Eivor is surrounded by a...
Oh, dude,
I love you.
I love you too, you asshole.
Okay, but anyway, basically what I was getting at was I'm talking about like the metal and the wood.
Yeah.
Those are the components I'm talking
about.
Well,
as terms of there's more wood to metal ratio. That's why
yes,
they would have more axes, because wood was more common.
Well, what I'm getting at is that they're made of similar components.
They are, but the ratios are very different.
Would you stop talking about fucking ratios? I'm talking about they have the same ingredients, just made differently in different things. And blah, blah, blah.
With different components, yes.
They're maybe similar components, yes, ratios are going to be different.
Yeah. Well, yeah, then yes. Then what are you getting at?
I'm trying to figure out why he was making fun of axes.
Oh.
Literally a sword is like basically a similar component.
It's a stick with a metal fucking end on it, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and an axe is a long stick.
Yeah.
With
a longer
big,
stick.
bulky boulder on the end.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're still made of stick and steel.
Yeah.
What's your point?
Yeah. His joke kind of fell flat on us.
It's like, what's your point?
Yeah, no kidding.
Meaning their defensive abilities and overall reach are incredibly limited. So, could you dual-wield axes? Sure, you could. Would you want to? Honestly, only in very limited situations where there's almost nothing else to use. And in the Valhalla trailer, Eivor is surrounded by abandoned boss grip shields, where the grip is inside a protected knob in the middle of the shield. What he should be doing in this situation...
Were boss grip shields common for Vikings? I thought Vikings had the leather back shields. I thought, or the leather grip shields, the ones with the actual sashes, the sash grip shields. I thought they had those.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
That sounds more fitting. I thought those shields didn't come until like the medieval times.
Yeah, boss grip was later than Viking era, wasn't it?
I think so.
I think so too. Yeah. It might be. It might be a later time period than the Viking. I'm not. I know boss grip shields were around in medieval times, but I don't know about Viking times, so I'm a little skeptical on that.
Situation, instead of looking around with a lot of mood, is picking up the obvious complement to his offensive main weapon. That is, without question, the single best strategic move that he should be making in this moment. Which then, of course, brings up our second question, the shield question. While he's picking up one, why doesn't he pick up two? Is there ever any
Yeah, there was
reason
one.
to
Well, I
dual-wield
think there was a woman in the background. Oh, fucking
happy to introduce their newest product, the Flash X Sleeve.
No one cares.
It's called the Flash X Sleeve.
Fuck you people!
Shield. In my research, I couldn't find any historical examples of anyone ever dual-wielding shields, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it never happened. Shields are super useful and are incredibly versatile defensive tools, but is there any practical reason to have more than one?
Okay.
That's not what you said earlier.
Yeah, that's not what you said earlier.
Fucking contradicting yourself.
Yeah, look, they're not supposed... Viking shields do not have a metal edge on them. They don't. If they do, then you actually could use them quite well for combat. Because the metal is pretty fucking sturdy, and if you jab them with this edge, then it's pretty fucking painful. But again, like, they didn't have this rounded edge to them in terms of metal. You know, so I don't know what he assumes with that. That's just mostly Ubisoft getting that wrong.
One? Probably not, unless you're in the rare circumstance of being attacked on both sides and are in desperate need of a hasty retreat. Sure, a shield can be used as a weapon like we see in the game, it's just not a good weapon. The benefit of axes and swords and lances and whatever aren't just the sharp stabby bits, though those are certainly perks, it's the fact that they're extending the effective lever of your arm, keeping...
How is a shield not doing that? Especially if you flick it forward, especially if it has a sash. But let's assume they did use boss grip shields. Then you could literally just fling it forward. It would still holding on to it, and the metal edge, which I don't know why, but they have to be metal edges for some reason, will do more damage than a fucking rawhide edge because it's metal. It's flattened metal, so that's going to do, and it does extend the lever of your arm. So what's the point?
You out of harm's way while substantially increasing the amount of damage that you can do. A shield.
Dual wielding shield.
Oh, Ale found a bunch of shit for dual wielding shields.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's click on this one.
Yeah.
And this was from last month.
Okay. Yeah. Ale found something for dual wielding shields, so who knows? Noose?
Shield quite simply isn't doing that. What's worse is that, as you just saw, the most effective way to use a shield as a weapon is by using its edge. If you think about why an arrow or a bullet works, they put all of the pressure on as small of a point as they can, creating a single point of maximum impact. A shield does basically the exact opposite, spreading the force behind it as much as possible.
That's only if you hit them with the flat of the shield, not if you hit them with the side rim of the shield. You kind of contradicted yourself there.
This is great when you're defending and you want to dissipate the energy from an incoming attack, but when you're attacking, it just means that you're going to be making less of an impact over a larger surface area. If you
only if you hit with the flat of the shield.
Have a single big shield, then yeah, maybe you can use both your hands to drive the furthest point of the shield into your opponent and do some damage that way, but with dual wielding, both of your hands are on different shields and your offensive ability effectively drops to 0. It is
no, not 0. I mean, not 100, but not 0.
Literally the opposite of what you want. But what if you had a hybrid weapon? What if you didn't just have a sword, but you had a sword and shield combo? They may just seem like a creation of fantasy games, but there is some historical documentation about shields with spikes sticking out of them appearing during the Dark and Middle Ages.
Not Dark and Middle Ages. That armor style is actually after the Dark Ages, or okay, that would be about 1500 1500 plus, so that would be, yeah, that would be after the Middle Age, or the Medieval Age is what we call it. That would be after the Medieval Age.
Notably used by the armies of William the Conqueror, these spiked shields tended to be round, thin, targe-styled shields with the boss of the shield equipped with a massive spike coming out of the center. And considering Assassin's
William the Conqueror used... Are you referring to the Battle of Hastings? That's the biggest battle that's attributed to William the Conqueror. The Battle of Hastings, and I remember this from watching Chad's video, he kind of pointed this out. What we think he got this from, where Matt Pat got this from, was I don't know where he got the Targe Shield thing from. That didn't come out until the fucking 17th century. in Scotland. But anyways, the idea of William the Conqueror's shields having spikes on them comes from this tapestry that had little like arrows on the shields, right? And it had little arrows on it. And someone wrote somewhere on some page somewhere that what with fucking what with the little arrows and everything, they said, oh well, these are spikes on their shields. No, it wasn't. If it was a spike, it would be a long line. It wouldn't be a little point. Okay.
Creed Valhalla takes place in 9th century England, there's definitely a chance Eivor could come across one of these bad boys in his journey. Fun fact, by the way, targe shields were used by English longbowmen for target practice. And that is where the word target actually comes from. The more you know. Anyway, if you want to get...
Oh, okay. Not English longbowmen from that period. More so longbowmen from 1700s, more like. Yeah, the targe was made much later on.
Even more extreme with your spiked shields, there's the absolutely insane looking lantern shield, which is like the Swiss army knife of shield combat, equipped with not just shield breaker spikes, but all sorts of Assassin's Creed-esque hidden blades popping out of every nook and cranny. This one was a bit late to be used by Eivor, coming straight out of the Italian Renaissance, but again, if you're looking for an offensive shield, this is probably going to be the best bet that you find in history, except again, there's a problem with all of these. How are you attacking? Sure, these things may be equipped toe to teeth with spikes, but unless you're charging headfirst into the enemy, leading them straight to a wall, or slamming the spikes down onto an opponent laying in the ground, you're not getting a lot of force behind your attack. From what I've read, the spiked shield was a short-lived trend in history, mostly related to the fact that it was a waste of resources. Look at the battlefield in the Valhalla trailer. Everyone is tightly packed, practically fighting on...
Tight? How is that tightly packed? How... They're spread way... Okay. Tightly packed would be a phalanx. That's tightly packed. Like, any of you seen 300, right? They're in a phalanx formation. Shield to shield. That's tightly packed. This is just a skirmish. This isn't even a real military endeavor. This is just a skirmish. Which skirmishes were the most common form of combat, from this point up until the medievals and everything. So skirmishes are historically accurate, but it's not a military formation. It's not a militaristic combat endeavor. You know what I mean? It's not soldier to soldier, shield to shield, with giant butt fucking sticks in between them. Like that's not what it is. So I don't know what the fuck he's watching.
On top of each other. Fighting during this era happened in tight masses of...
This is actually a tight mass of people. He gave an example of a tight mass of people, and then quoted an example that wasn't a tight mass of people. So I don't just look, like, this is actually a tight mass. You see, they're right behind him. And this Chad is just like, yeah, I knocked you down, motherfucker. But again, like, and most of their armor, as you can see, is cloth. Padded cloth. Most of it is cloth. Now, there's this one dude with, looks like a chainmail hauberk. That is also accurate, but that was typically for the bigger, larger soldier who could actually handle that much weight. But helmets, almost everyone's wearing a fucking helmet. This is an actual reenactment, by the way. Everyone's using a fucking helmet, and I don't see any spikes there on the shield, like at all, like at the fuck all. So that should kind of tell you. I assume with Shad, I assume that Matt Pat thought that based on this tapestry that depicts the Battle of Hastings, that William the Conqueror had spiked shields, but no, he did not. He did not have spiked shields at all. There is no written account of him having spiked shields. Now, the little spike, little arrow point on the shields on the tapestry were the bosses, the specific round bit right here. They just drew it a certain way. If it was a spike, it would have been a long straight line. That's how they drew spikes back then. That's just a misinterpretation of art. That's honestly, again, just talk to us. Matt, for the love of God, talk to Shad. He knows his shit. I mean, I'm always here too, but like...
Yeah, because you never leave the house.
Yeah, because I never leave the house. But, I mean, Shad, I would consider Shad more of an expert than I am, but I know a good deal about different times in history and combat and all that stuff. Again, I live for this kind of stuff, this kind of enactment kind of stuff. If I was physically, not a cripple, then I would probably be doing this stuff like all the time.
People, and the spikes were meant to control distance and angles from which an opponent could attack. But the spike...
Do you realize that you could also just pick up your holy walking stick over there and, practice, right?
Well, yeah, but...
You never do.
Well, I do.
When?
Mostly when you're gone.
Why?
It's a ritual.
Why?
Anyways,
Why don't you ever show me?
It's holy. I don't want to... Anyway. The thing is...
Oh, like you're holy.
Well, I'm not. That's why I don't want to touch it. Anyways, the thing is, we have a holy walking stick.
I'm going to beat him with it.
I think it's actually been blessed, actually. Like, that's what's scary about it. Like, it's...
No, I literally just got it for free from some pastor.
Exactly. What if the pastor blessed it? They can do that.
I mean, the most he would do is probably just sprinkle a little holy water on it and call it good.
That's all you need to do to bless something. That's literally all you need to do.
You know I've actually made holy water before?
Oh, jeez. God, everyone's against me.
Spikes became a nuisance quickly in these sorts of battles, either getting in the way, getting caught on various objects, or just poking your allies in the back. So really...
None of that made sense. Ow. Ow! Just none of that made sense. Look. The thing with the spikes, it doesn't control... It would have to be a mighty thick fucking spike to control the angle at which people attack.
Tell him to practice with the fucking holy walking stick.
Yeah, I'll practice with the holy walking stick. But anyways,
better.
I need to get back into that. But anyways,
exactly, because I don't used to use it.
Yeah, that's true. But again,
Liar.
I get his logic. His logic is sound, but he's being too logical in terms of the utility of a spike. I mean,
spikes are pretty gnarly.
Yeah, I mean...
I don't know
what is a spear other than a spike connected to a tree branch? Like...
Sharpened...
It's a sharpened tree branch, essentially.
No. It's like sharpened piece of stone...
Yeah.
Connected to tree branch.
Yeah. That's essentially the origin of the spear. Yeah.
With weeds.
With weeds holding it together, yeah.
Any way you slice it, this is just another instance of just because you can dual-wield something or slap a bunch of spikes onto something, it doesn't mean that you should. Because here's the real fact of the matter, friends. Forget dual-wielding, Eivor should be using ranged attacks for everything. As I mentioned before, in an early peek of the gameplay for Valhalla, YouTuber CoreyX Kenshin captured this incredible moment.
Oh, throw your shield down, huh? Bet you wish you didn't now. I took her head off with an arrow?
My first thought was that there was no chance that this could ever be possible in real life, but then I saw this from the channel ZBG Studios, short for Zombie Go Boom. Oh! The key to this
that was not a clean shot. By clean, I mean a shot that was untaken before. That was like the third or fourth shot in. That was not like a, like a single shot. I don't know. I haven't seen the original video, so I don't know if it... But I'm looking at what I'm seeing, and it was bloody at the base of the neck, and the arrow hit inside that crevice. Actually, I think it was above that. Yeah, it was above that crevice, showing that it didn't make that wound. It was, yeah. So that wasn't quite it.
Arrowhead. and the accuracy of the archer. Rather than aiming for the head, the archer aimed for the neck using a
Well, yeah.
mechanical broadhead arrow. These types of arrows contain little winglets inside that expand upon contact with the target, spreading out to 2.5 inches wide, or 6.
Well, yeah, that's a fucking mechanical monstrosity of death. What the fuck does that have to do with fucking Viking era arrows?
35 centimeters. This extremely large cutting area is over half the size of an average neck, which is 4.77 inches in diameter, or 12.1 centimeters, certainly making it plausible that a well-placed arrow to the neck could absolutely decapitate someone. I used to be a Viking like you, but then I took an arrow to the neck. Now, as you can imagine, that fancy type of expanding arrowhead wasn't used back in 9th century England, but you know what was its ancestor? The basic broadhead arrow. You see, early
not a
Viking
broadhead.
arrowheads used in battle were exactly the same types of arrows that they used in hunting.
What?
Flat, made of metal, and
Okay, first of all, no. Second of all, this actually, that's not a broadhead either.
It looks like one would be really painful to get out.
Yeah. Okay.
It looks like
This would
one-
actually be a flesh cutter. If all of this was sharpened, this would be a flesh cutter, not a broadhead.
Oh, so
Broadheads
was I
don't.
right?
Yeah, if this was all sharpened, no, this is a different arrow than what you thought. It would be a flesh cutter. If all of this was sharpened,
Oh,
then it would be a flesh cutter.
it still hurts to get out.
Yeah, you're right. It would. The flesh cutters were terrible to remove.
Is it
fucking
because they kept
terrible.
ripping?
Oh yeah,
That's what I was trying to
they
get
rip
at.
like a motherfucker.
No, that's what I was thinking.
Actually, this would be a broadhead if it was just to this point, right there.
It is.
Up.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Well, yeah, then you're right.
Maybe
So
you said like, no, it was something different. I'm like,
I thought you said something different. I don't know.
no.
Okay,
I'm like,
fuck.
is that the one that really hurts to get out?
Oh yeah. Then you'd be right.
Exactly.
I didn't hear you right. Anyways, this would only be a broadhead if it was just, this point here. Now, sometimes they did put barbs in them, but they didn't. Not barbs this fucking big. I don't think they even had flesh cutter arrows in the Viking era. I know that's more medieval period arrow.
approximately 5 to 7 centimeters
You're
long,
undoing
5
my headphones.
centimeters wide, and with a barb on both sides designed to cut through skin and stick in the body. As time went on and armor became more sophisticated, new arrowhead types called bodkins were developed that were
What?
longer and narrower, losing the barbs.
Became developed. Bodkins have been around since the fucking Stone Age. What? Oh my god. Maybe not exactly Stone Age, but pretty damn close. The idea of a yeah, no kidding. The idea of a long tipped arrow has, like, ever since we've had chainmail, we've had bodkin arrows. Like, and we've had chainmail for a long time.
Okay, Mr. Triggered.
Yeah, no kidding. Like, the idea that bodkins were made way later in history from the Viking era is ridiculous, because bodkins were around in the Viking era. They were the standard type of arrow. So I don't know where he got that.
And being designed instead to pierce through chainmail.
Well,
But
yeah.
as you can see, the enemies Eivors attacking in Valhalla, with a few exceptions, aren't all that heavily armored. In fact, here you can see his chest and neck fully exposed. While unlikely, it's certainly not implausible that with a big enough broadhead arrow and a strong enough bow, Eivor could do ye oldie version of a boom headshot. I mean, the long and short of it is this. Sure, we've seen all the assassins perform nearly impossible acrobatics and show incredible ninja warrior-esque skills when it comes to climbing walls, but none of the others have been able to do the heavy lifting
Yeah,
of
it's kind of their
dual-wielding
thing.
shields
Right.
and war axes or
basically like
decapitating
you're-
foes with a single arrow.
Ninja.
Eivor is just next level strong and is unquestionably the strongest assassin that we've yet
Yeah.
seen in the games.
Yeah, it is always European.
Fair for like.
Well, Greek is technically Europe, so I mean, well, Egypt.
no.
Egypt's not Europe.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I'm like.
Yeah,
ooh,
spare for Egypt.
Yeah.
That was the only one that wasn't European.
Otherwise, it's 90% like European.
Yeah. So I
Mostly
mean,
Southern Europe.
yeah, mostly Southern Europe.
Exactly, yeah.
Them doing this Europe-specific trend makes sense, but I don't know how I feel about the Assassin's Creed anymore. Like it. Shut up. 4 was just didn't feel like an Assassin's Creed game. 3, they were going in the right direction, but it was so buggy and glitchy on launch, and it was so fucked. It just didn't fucking work. Like, no, I'm not. Shut up.
Shut up, Triggered.
Quit being a butthead over there.
Okay, Triggered.
No, again, they had 3, and then they
Comment if you think Chris is triggered.
shut up. The 3, they were going the right direction, but it was, that alone was, and Revelations had a shit ending. Like, Desmond dies because reasons.
Where's Revelations at?
It's technically the 3rd game. I know the 4th game, technically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But, like...
And 3 is the 5th game. It was right after. Yeah, 3 is the 5th game.
Oh my god, they're just as bad as Star Wars.
Yeah, they're just about Star Wars, yeah. You had 2, then you had Brotherhood and Revelations immediately after 2.
Okay, but where's Revelations? Like,
it's the second sequel to 2.
That's not what I'm saying. Like, where's it located?
It's in between 2 and 3.
We're on the Earth.
Oh, okay. Well, you said located. I thought you meant fucking timeline. Jesus. Okay. Fucking Constantinople.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't need to know, you fucking triggered bitch.
Byzantina, Constantinople. No, it's anyways,
Shut up, you triggered horse.
it is Constantinople. But no,
Shut up, you triggered horse.
no, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
Just shut up.
No.
We get the joke. You told it 12 times already. Shut
Triggered.
up. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hurt you. I meant to grab you by
You
the
hurt
cheeks.
my mouth.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot your mouth was hurting. Well, I meant to grab you by the cheeks. Ow, my foot. Shin. How do you know anatomy and I don't? I'm the reflexologist. Pard, damn it.
I'm smarter than you, I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
He doesn't have the most intimidating voice to match, which then begs the question, how does it all end? How do you stop a guy as strong as this? Well, the funny thing about Assassin's
What?
Creed is that we always have a cheat guide in the form of history. We know that the Viking raids across England caused monasteries to fortify their defenses and move inland away from the reach of the ship-based Vikings, but that wasn't everything. Many historians also tie the arrival of the Christian church in the area to the end of the Viking raids, as the raids didn't keep up with the teachings of the church. And remind me again, who is the main antagonist of the Assassin's Creed series? Oh yeah, the Templars.
What? That's a Hospitalier. What? That's not a Templar. That's a Knights Hospitalier. They founded Prussia.
I was gonna say, like, isn't that an Iron Cross?
Yeah, Jesus. They founded Prussia. They're basically Germanic knights.
No,
The Knights Templar were French. These guys were more Germanic. They founded Prussia, modern day Prussia. So again, Knights Hospitalier. Yeah. No, that was the Holy Roman Empire. That's what you're thinking of.
I was joking.
Yeah, no kidding. No, I know.
I know the Romans fucked us over.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. When is the Romans gonna pay respirations for our fucking Germanic ass? When are they gonna pay respirations for us?
Let's go talk to James and see what he says.
Yeah, he is Italian. That's true. Oh boy.
It's reparations, you dumbass.
Yeah, we need is it reparations or respirations?
Respirations, respirating.
Yeah. Oh, breathing. Oh yeah. So we need to get
respirator.
We need to get
breathing.
We need to get breathing tribute from fucking Romans.
Yeah, totally.
Breathing tribute.
So reparations would be your correct.
Yeah, reparation. Okay, we need reparations from Rome. Fucking with our Germanic asses.
Wealthy and powerful of the Western Christian military orders.
Well, kind of. I mean, they were wealthy and powerful until Philip I was a fucking douchebag. But I mean, 1400s around there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nobody will ever replace Richard Lionhearted.
Yeah, no kidding. Philip I was he was a French king. Of course, he was a French king.
Oh, that's why. I don't look at French. I don't pay attention to them.
Yeah, no kidding. Philip I he was basically okay. This is what he did. He went to the Knights Templar and said, "Hey, you guys have money. I want money. Money's great. I'll pay you back because I'm a king. I can do that." So they're like, "Okay, here, have all this gold." He's like, "Yay, gold. By the way, guys, I need more money. I blew it all on hookers and lottery tickets. Here, have more gold, but you have to pay us back." "Okay, I'll pay you back." Goes back to his fucking castle. I need to kill them to get the rest of their money. And literally he charges them with a fake as bullshit crime that was unproven, undocumented. No real example ever existed then, let alone today, of them. Like, one of the accusations was that their initiation was that they kissed the initiates on the head, chest, and butt. That was one of the allegations. Another allegation was that they were worshiping a decapitated idol, which we've never found a decapitated statue, a statue that was just a head. We never found any evidence of that from the Knights
I
Templar.
don't know why, but my head decided like, so like they were worshiping a statue with no head.
Well, no, a disembodied head. I mean, disembodied head.
That's why I was like,
Yeah.
geez.
Yeah, no, yeah, wrong word, but no, yeah,
I mean, a
disembodied head.
Still works, but like,
Yeah.
I got confused.
No, that's fine. No, I get you. But again, like, it was a disembodied head, and that they were worshiping it, and that they were into like devil magic and Satanism and all this shit before Satanism was a thing, by the way. And they were into all this devil magic and dark arts and decanery and all this shit. Yeah, the Freemasons were more crazy, but
yeah, because they actually did have Satan worship.
yeah, they actually did, and they never got charged for it. So that should tell you something.
Yeah.
You know, that should really tell you something.
Stop talking about that before we get found out.
Yeah,
anyway.
we should. Yeah, the fucking the Teutonic Order is gonna find us. Fucking
basically.
Jesus, God, it's like being back in Rome. No, fuck. Anyways, Constantinople land.
Looks like there may be no winning at the end of this game, considering that the only thing able to take down a man with the strength of a god is the power of the church itself. I guess we'll just have to find out on November 10th. Click the link in the description to check it out. But hey, that's...
Oh god, no. Okay, we're not doing the end of that. No, okay, look.
It's just a theory.
Shut up.
A game theory!
Curse you all, woman! No, yeah.
I had to do it.
Yeah, no, just... Oh, shit. Okay, I forgot it does that when I click out of it. Okay, whatever. Yeah, when I click out of it, it gets all fucky when I do that. Yeah, see,
hey, you're talking like me now.
Yeah, no kidding. Okay, look, this was not meant to, like, talk shit about nobody. I just kind of act like that, I guess. But look, Pat, please talk to Shad. Like,
Chris is triggered.
You know, a little bit.
Chris
But
is triggered.
just, again,
Chris is triggered.
you've said that 12 times now. You can stop.
Pat, Chris is triggered.
Shut up.
He got triggered by your video. How do you feel?
Yeah, you've damaged an old Nordic dude.
You're only 24!
I'm old. I have arthritis.
You're only 24.
I have bone stigmatas. I've got an eye stigmata, and I have a cold, for it is known as pneumonia. I've got pneumonia, and I'm sick. That's the actual song, by the way.
I realize that.
But no, yeah.
Shut up, you triggered bitch.
Yeah, I'm kidding. Just look, it's... Yeah. Talk to people. This is a community for a reason. Like, sweet zombie dick. Like, it... Again, I see where you got mistracked. When it comes to FNAF, you're a fucking genius. Truly. You're a butt fucking genius when it comes to that stuff.
You're pretty good when it comes to Nintendo stuff.
Yeah, you're good when it comes to Nintendo stuff, too. Like, when it comes to a fictional timeline, you've got everything down perfectly. But when it comes to history, you always get led astray somehow. I don't know how. I don't know why. It's just some god cursed you. I don't know. Half of the gods cursed me, and I'm still more or less in one piece. More or less. So, I mean, you know.
You're moralless?
More or less. Not moral. What? More or less. That's not a word.
Moral.
More or less. I am more or less.
That means you have no morals.
It's yes, I am without morals. Good. Morals hold back free-thinking society. That's why we need to take the chains of oppression and take the yoke of the ministry and and the patriarchy summons us into the folds, and I don't know.
Let y'all know I have no idea what the fuck.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about either, but no, yeah, just I take pot shots or whatever I can. Again,
What?
look, it just
You take pot shots?
yeah,
Pot.
yeah,
Shot.
pot. It as in reference to the canon pot shot. Pot was a type of
Okay, think of this from my standpoint.
yeah, you're thinking of the drug, I know, but pot shot
And I'm
was a
like,
reference to like pirate times where they would hit a specific beam of a ship that would be called a pot shot.
You know what? I wish that there was such a thing as a pot shot, because you know how many of those I would take?
Yeah, no kidding. Jesus. Pot shots. Yeah, no, I could see that as a drug. I could see that as a drug. It's like a shot, but with weed. Yeah, no.
I'd be down. They're crossfaded in 2 seconds.
Yeah, no kidding. Jesus, fuck.
What?
What is it with us and drugs? I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, I was kind of raised around learning about them
Yeah, that's true.
because of my grandmother,
Yeah,
and, you know, my dad has done some
Yeah.
stuff.
yeah,
He hasn't done anything hard.
yeah.
Really hasn't.
I mean, he's a bit of a explorer in the realm of psychedelics.
Only weed.
Yeah. Well, I'm referencing a video, but it's yeah, never mind.
Okay, but psychedelics is like acid and shrooms.
In shrooms, yeah, no, you're right, but
I mean, yeah, you can see shit with weed, which I mean, like it's kind of.
yeah, I remember listening. Okay, this is like the one time. God, why am I gonna tell a weed story? God, I hate these things. But I was in this cult. Okay, don't ask why, don't ask how. I don't even know. But it was this hippie commune, weed pot smoking, vodka drinking bunch of fuckers, and
Ain't you happy to be with a hippie that's actually free?
yeah, no kidding. And
Free thinker?
they were like in this weird militaristic commune cult. It was fucking weird. But anyways, I was only there because I was homeless, to be real. But I ended up hitting a bong or something, and I could hear fucking Nintendo music from Pokemon Crystal specifically in the backyard in the garden. Like
So specific.
in the garden of the backyard, I could hear that
mean-
Pokemon music playing. And it just, and I thought it was cautious. I thought he was pulling a fucking prank on me. Like,
I mean, granted, somebody was smoking in a car once, and it literally looked like I was going through like a fucking weird, like, striped slide, and I'm like, where
oh
the
wow,
fuck am I going?
Jesus,
I'm
yeah,
like, alright, cool.
dude, that's just crazy. But no, yeah, like fucking, will you stop it? God, woman, fuck.
I have no shame.
It's like I'm with the boys, but I'm fucking them at the same time. Yeah, just anyways, like I love you.
I love
You
you too.
sick ass motherfucker.
You wanna tell
Oh
them what I'm doing?
God. You are disgusting, but I love you anyways.
Do you wanna tell them what I'm doing?
Yeah, she's shitting herself over here with gas, gaseous shits. Be Jews, Vivas Kings, Oyum,
Jakob.
Jakob, Jakob Smirnoff.
Oh, good lord.
No, yeah.
I'm just saying Jakob because that's apparently their god that hates them. We was Kangs.
Yeah, we was Kangs, but no, we was Vikings and shit. No,
I mean,
we was no. It's anyways.
give me my reparations.
Yeah, come on, Rome.
Give me my respirations.
Give me my respirations, Rome. You owe us respirations, motherfucker. Oh god, that's funny. But no, yeah, like
my dad,
yeah.
Get reparations.
From Rome.
Respirations.
Respirations.
That's so hard for me to say when reparations is so easy.
Yeah, respirations. I'm good at saying the wrong word. Like it's just I don't know. It's a gift I have. You know, it's a gift I have. But no, again, look, Matt,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you're not terrible. 9 times out of 10, you're pretty damn smart.
Make more Zelda videos.
Yeah, make more Zelda videos. Make it all happy. But here's kind of the
Make me watch
thing.
your videos again because
Yeah,
I
just-
don't play FNAF. I'm sorry.
Just don't touch history without talking to somebody. Like,
yeah, don't trigger Chris because he will find you.
yeah, I will find you, and I will hug you so hard I will hurt. Anyways,
Why don't you ever do that to me?
I like giving hugs, but no, I give you hugs all the time. Well, I give you like all I did last night was hug you in my sleep.
I don't know that because I'm asleep.
Well, you woke up a few times,
I
and
did.
yeah,
When?
like I don't know what time. You just woke up.
I don't remember waking up.
Yeah.
I don't remember waking up.
I rolled over to you and said, I'm gonna hug onto you. And you're like, okay.
I probably don't remember doing that.
And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do that now. And I put my computer down and I like engulf you in a crisp death grip of snaring and hugging and choking and deathing and rotting and subhuman species. And no, I love that song. Yeah, you can get rid of that. But no, yeah. Ow. Ow. What? Ow. Ow. Ow, she hugged me. Ugh. Anyways. So yeah, like yeah. I guess we'll just leave it there. I think that's about it. I think that's all I needed to say. An hour
Stop triggering my fiance.
an hour and 30 minutes later. That's all I needed to say. No, it's yeah, fucking all the meme is pretty funny. That is pretty funny. When your mom says no but your dad says yes. That is so true. Why is it always the mother saying no? Why is that? It's always the mother that says no.
Maybe it's going down to the be careful thing.
Yeah, probably. I mean, 9 times out of 10, if you're a kid climbing a tree, the mother says be careful and the father says you can do it, climb higher. Did you kick the cat? What the fuck?
No, he dug his claws in my leg.
Oh. Well, bring him here so I can smack his ass.
Why'd you do that to me?
What did... I didn't want to touch your lip. Yeah. We've just had fucked up lip and... Well, I've had fucked up gum and tonsil issues. She's had fucked up lip and tongue issues.
I have angioedema.
Yeah, she's got
And I have
swelling.
blisters in my mouth.
She has swelling of the everything.
And it fucking hurts.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I have to take a bunch of pain medication just to even get used to it.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Oh, well, not get used to it, but like to relieve my pain.
I love doing that water bowl shampoo water thing that they do in salons. I love that stuff. That used to be my favorite fucking part of the whole.
Why?
I don't know why. It feels good. It's like I don't know why. It's relaxing to me.
I always thought the thing hurt my neck.
Well, yeah, it hurts afterwards, but
No,
I
it
mean,
hurts during.
Oh yeah, kind of.
I always hated I like them washing my hair because it feels nice.
Yeah.
Because I actually like people washing my hair.
Yeah.
Something you won't ever do to me.
Well, yeah. Anyways, moving on.
Ah.
So what the
Just burp straight into the microphone.
I want to see if anyone can hear that.
Did you stop trying to do that? That's fucking disgusting.
I am Bone Break Daddy. What? They went along with it.
What? I'm trying to. Okay, today I tried to kiss my best friend.
Yeah.
Oh.
And half of them went along with it.
And some of these are actually boy and girl, and I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure they're gonna just,
Yeah.
Anyway, we're like.
Get on with it. Yeah, we're fucking yeah.
Yeah.
You should just exit the video now. I'm just gonna keep talking about nothing.
Unless you really want to hear us ramble about this
Yeah.
fucking weird ass video.
Yeah, we're just watching weird shit. I don't know. It's like so bizarre. I guess I'm just old fashioned, but I'm used to like people being fucking
Yeah.
not as blatant about things. You know, not as blatantly open, and those are two chicks. Not as blatantly open about what you want or how you feel, or I mean, I don't know. Like it's there's being honest, and then there's being too damn honest. You know what I mean? And I feel like it's too damn honest nowadays. And back then, it was just honest enough. You know what I mean? Like it was just honest enough. Oh,
Oh.
and
Oh no.
she's like, "Fuck you."
Alright.
But that other guy's getting laid. No, okay. This is oh, oops. Not dashboard. Crap. I wanted to show you guys this. Oh. Okay, so I've got all this stuff done in my world anvil. So my world anvil, eight, Athena? What? That's not mine. Hold on. How do I get to the fucking? I don't know. Fucking, I'm getting confused here. Dashboard. Oh, view. I'm an idiot. Okay.
Okay, this is cute. This is actually kind of adorable.
Yeah. If this damn thing will load. Okay, here we
This
go.
makes me want to give you a kiss.
Oh god. Ah! My face. My face too. Okay, I need to add more to this. Obviously, I'm nowhere near done with this, but this is my little world page thing that I do here. Wait, can you guys even see that? Oh yeah, you can. I'll be damned. Okay, so yeah, like, you know, just ignore it. I gotta update the map. That was the wrong picture, but I actually have a map that I'm gonna use. So yeah, I've got all these. This is a town. This is a major plot spoiler. This is an organization. This is a myth. The cat and the gator. What the fuck? Okay, the cat and the gator. It's a cute little story I came up with. Kind of a myth. You know, it was inspired by the Chinese mythologies about the rabbit and the peasant and all that stuff, and it was kind of inspired me to make the cat and the gator. And I don't know why, but I just thought to myself, why are cats and gators not friends? And then it dawned on me, there must be some myth to explain this weird phenomenon. And now it makes sense, even though they both like fish and cats like to travel, and so do gators, and you know, all that stuff. They like to travel, but only if someone else takes them. You know, so that's why. So it just made sense. It made sense. But anyways, that's my world anvil. You know, Lands of Golgotha, Christofferson. Same as my YouTube. So if you guys ever want to see that, then go for it. Other than that, take care and don't get shot. And
Well then.
babe, anything you want to say real quick?
I'm watching this really cute video. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, well, good on you. Bye bye.